Okay, in this last video we're going to talk about the creation of cameras and how they work in 3ds Max. So I'm using the same scene setup here to use as the example or the guinea pig here to experiment with. So how do we create cameras in 3ds Max? Well, by default here what we have is a perspective view. As you can see here in the upper left, this is a perspective view, but it's not exactly a camera view. Although we can use the perspective view to render. Ideally, however, when you want to render out animations or any type of projects, you want to go ahead and create a camera specifically to go ahead and render. So let's go over here to the Create panel, and you'll notice over here next to lights we have a camera button. So let's go ahead and click that. And we only get two types of cameras, target camera and a free camera. So let's click on target. Let's go ahead and create the target here, and it works just like when we created target lights in 3ds Max earlier. So place the little target cube anywhere, right click to end the creation process, and then we can move this camera anywhere. And it's always going to face this small light blue cube here, which is the camera target. So that's the target. Now the free camera is the same exact thing. The only difference is that it doesn't have a target point, so it can freely look around anywhere, hence why it's called free. So let's go to the modify panel and let's see what kind of options we can adjust here. By default, the field of view or FOV down here is set to 45 degrees. We can actually change that to anything that we want. We can also choose from a number of preset stock lenses here, anything from 15mm lenses up to 200mm lenses. We can change the type from target to free. So basically this is where you would switch it back to a free camera, which has no target point, or back to a target camera, so it's looking at a specific target. Then down here we just have more and more options for all kinds of different things, clipping planes. We can also turn on depth of field. We have depth of field parameters, which mimics that depth of field effect you can create with real life cameras, where something close to the camera can be in focus while things behind it can be out of focus and blurry. So you can create those effects using these parameters. Okay, over here we have orthographic projection. What orthographic projection does, and let me show you what it does. If you want to switch over to the camera's viewpoint so we can look through this camera, hit C on the keyboard. And that automatically will take you to, as you can see in the upper left, camera 01. Let's change the name of this camera from camera 01 to render camera. And you can see the name updated over here, and it says render camera. Now we're looking through the render camera's point of view. You can see how everything appears to have perspective through it. Everything looks 3D. If I turn on orthographic projection, it all gets a 2D look. That's because we removed the 3D or perspective look from the camera's projection. So now it's 2D, just like a side view, a top view, a left view, and so on and so forth. So let's make it a perspective view again by unchecking that orthographic projection. Now when we go to render, hit F10, or not F10, we can go up here. Do that again. 3, 2, 1. Now when we go to render, we could change the render settings to tell 3ds Max which camera viewport we want to render from. So let's go over here to the rendering menu from the main menu, and let's go to render setup. The shortcut is F10. Okay. In the common parameters up here in this common tab of the render setup box or window, you can go down here to where it says render camera or view, and you notice that we have a render camera. If you have more cameras in the scene, you can choose them. So you can create render camera 01, render camera 02, panoramic camera, create all the cameras that you need. And then you can come down here to view to this drop down box, and you can select the camera that you want to go ahead and render from. That's extremely important when you're going to set your final animation to render, because if you choose the wrong view, you're going to render from the wrong point of view, and later you're going to be pretty upset when you have to render all over again. So you want to make sure that you have the correct view camera selected. So that's going to do it for cameras in 3ds Max. Thanks a lot for watching this tutorial. Again, this tutorial was meant to introduce someone who has never worked in 3D before, introduce them to 3ds Max in the easiest and quickest way possible. as getting your feet wet and diving into 3ds Max can be a very, very difficult process if you don't have the right training in place. So thanks for watching. If you'd like to know more about 3ds Max, please visit our website www.i3dtutorials.com and go ahead and check out some of the new products that we're constantly releasing. We will be releasing much more 3ds Max training that focuses specifically on different aspects of 3ds Max. For example, modeling or rendering or lighting and things like that. So if you want to learn more about 3ds Max, visit our website and check out our latest products. I'm i3D Jack. Thanks a lot for watching. Have fun with 3ds Max and remember to unleash the power of your imagination.